This is NextGen TV. I'm talking to Keith Vinning of Fujitsu. Keith, you gave a talk today about next generation broadband. Give us some of the highlights.
Well, it's been around about 6 months since we last spoke, Brian, and we're doing a lot now in the UK. We're involved in around about 5 different tender processes, all in the BD UK space, all with the money that's been given by the government. You recall the 530 million. So we're working with North Yorkshire, we're working with Cumbria, and we're working with Wales, plus 1 or 2 other councils to actually provide them with the networks. And over that time as well, we started to do trials with Openreach so that we can look at their PIA, that's the passive infrastructure access, to find out how we can effectively get the processes right, to get the procedures right, to be able to input the fibre into the ducts to make sure that the customers can get the service very, very quickly. So there's a lot happening out in the industry, and Fujitsu is there bringing fibre to the home, hopefully in around about 6 months, 9 months time. We're hoping to start to put our spades in the ground.
Fantastic. And being Fujitsu, I presume, although you've had a lot of UK success, there's international successes as well.
Absolutely. We're building on our international work that we're doing. So we're providing fibre to the home in Saudi Arabia for Saudi Telecom, and in Australia there is a huge program backed by the government, next generation broadband there, and Fujitsu is actively involved in doing all of the infrastructure build for the government of Australia.
Now, you've obviously got a lot of experience now that you're gathering very, very quickly, as you say, even since we last spoke. But what do you think are the key challenges facing us back in the home market, back in the UK?
Well, Brian, there are challenges. When we spoke earlier on in the year, you said, what is it that's brought Fujitsu to the party? And in those days I was quite honest with you, it's the fact that there's some match funding. The challenges we've got now within the UK is how do we spend that match funding, because it is limited, how do we spend that match funding wisely? And so therefore we're very keen to make sure, and so are the regions, so are the counties, they're very keen that we don't build a white elephant. So very clear, Fujitsu is very clear that we want to go and build where there is the demand. That will involve demand stimulation, that will involve demand registration, and it will be taking the broadband, the fibre broadband, the copper broadband, the advanced broadband services to those people who need it, who want it because they haven't got it at the moment. If you try and take it to people who've already got it, they won't want to take a speed that's just a little bit higher. But those people who are getting next to nothing, they will come.
So we've got to really spend the money at the right time, but in the right place. I think that's what you're saying.
In the right time and in the right place, and then you'll get the best value for money. I also do wonder that the government has made their plans to actually spend 17 million on High Speed 2, which is great because it will cut the time to go from London to Birmingham by 20 minutes. I do wonder though whether that's the best way of spending £17 billion. I know that the industry would love to get their hands on £17 billion because then we could ensure everybody got fibre, and that would then really future-proof the country. That's really what I'd like to see.
Great point, and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, Brian. It's always a pleasure.